What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenneth Smith. And it's been a while since I've just hopped on the mic and just spit out some fire for you guys and did a really just 10 to 15 minute banger episode where I spoke about a little bit of mindset, about mental toughness. And I know that for a lot of you, that's the biggest reason why you listen to the Powerhouse Mentality, because you want to be called out on your bullshit. You want to get fired up. You want to be given a mindset shift and an action step to finally break through and take yourself to the next level. So today, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this episode before we get into it is you're not stuck. You're just choosing comfort over discomfort. And when you change that, you'll change everything. And I mean everything. Your career, your life, your finances, your fitness, everything. So again, you're not stuck. You're just making the same weak decisions over and over and over and over again. Change requires change. If you want to change something in your life, you have to change something that you're doing. You cannot just continue to do the same thing over and over again and hope for a different outcome. That's literally the definition of insanity. And if that pisses you off, well, that's a good thing. Because today, we're going to break that cycle. You're going to learn how to break that cycle. And like I always say on this podcast, knowledge is not power, but applied knowledge is power. So I advise you not just to listen to this episode and hear these things and allow them to fire you up, but I want you to take action on them. So many people listen to a podcast, get on a webinar, go to an in-person event, and they get fucking fired up. And they're going to change their life, and then 6 months later, they're in the same damn place because they never took action. I've been that person. I've been the person who goes to like an event, an in-person event where it's like this conference, and I'm listening to all these amazing speakers and business owners and coaches, and I'm like, I'm going to take action on this, and I am going to be so awesome. This is going to change my life. But that event doesn't change my life. If I take action, then it changes my life. And I've been in the position where I get really fired up after an event, and then a month later, I'm sad again. I'm depressed again. I'm stressed again because I never took action. So we need to break that cycle. And this matters because so many people say that they want success, they want change, they want results. But they keep tolerating their own excuses. They're playing small. They're waiting for motivation, or they're letting fear run their life. And if you don't fix this, you'll be in the same place year after year after year. It's like every year when you say that this will be my year. So this episode is going to be a little bit of a wake-up call. Now, first, I want to call you out. And again, I'm calling myself out, or past me, but I do some of these things still to this day. But when I do these things, I realize, wait, hold on. These are the things that are keeping you stuck. Let's pivot. Let's fix them. Let's go from a different perspective and let's move forward. I've been in these positions, and this is why I'm talking about it, because I want you guys to learn from my mistakes, from my setbacks, so that you don't have to deal with them and you can get to your goals faster. So I'm calling you out, but I'm also calling past Caitlin out here. Now, the real reason why you're stuck is, one, you're not actually stuck. You're choosing comfort. Every day, we have the incredible ability to make choices. We live in a beautiful country where we have free will, free speech, where we can make our own choices. And most of you don't take that for granted. Most of the choices that you're making are keeping you exactly where you are. You say you want results, but when it gets hard, you hesitate. You can't hesitate. The moment you hesitate is when you lose. And that's the reality. You can hesitate a little bit because nobody's perfect and that's life. But if you hesitate so much to the fact that you never take action, that's a problem. How many times have you said to yourself, I'm going to start today, and then today turns to tomorrow, and then tomorrow turns to the next day, and then it turns to Monday, then it turns to the first of the year, but you never actually take action. The moment you hesitate, you lose. When you notice that you're hesitating, act instead. But we'll talk about things that you can do to break the cycle in a bit. The second reason why you're stuck. You're interested, you are not committed. So there's a difference between being interested and being committed. If you're interested, I want to get in shape, you only do it when it's convenient. If you're committed, I will get in shape, you do it even when it sucks. You do it even when conditions aren't ideal. You do it regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless of how you feel. You make a commitment to yourself. You keep that commitment to yourself. And that's why so many people fail. They're not truly committed to their goals. They are interested in the idea of accomplishing their goals. But when things get hard, when things hurt, when they start to suck, when you fail, when you have a setback, you quit. So I want you to ask yourself right now in this moment, are you interested or are you committed? If you're interested, you will feel stuck. You will stay where you're at. You might make a little bit of progress, but once you make that little bit of progress, you're going to fall backwards as soon as things become inconvenient. If you're committed, you're going to continue to make progress. You will have setbacks because that's part of the journey. You will have setbacks regardless. But you cannot have success without failures. And that failure is simply an opportunity for growth. And the third reason why you're stuck, your standard is the problem. And a lot of people don't want to hear this one. Because when I call somebody out that they don't have the right standards, that they need to raise their standards, they get offended. Because, if somebody told me like, hey, you need to raise your standards, initially I might get offended, but then I might take a step back and think, well, are they correct? Maybe I do need to raise my standards. Maybe I am not pushing myself hard enough. Maybe I am not setting appropriate standards for the goals that I have set for myself. You don't need motivation. You need to raise your standards. And not just raise your standards, set the standard, hold the standard. Setting the standard is a hope, is a wish. Holding the standard, adhering to the standard is an action. So people who win in life, they don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait until they feel like doing it. If they did, then they would never fucking do it. Let's be real. If I waited every day until I felt like doing my training session, I would probably not do my training session because it'd be midnight and I'd be like, well, I guess I didn't do it today. But I don't. I set a scheduled time for when I do my training because it's important to me. And regardless of what's happening, I show up for myself. If you don't set a higher standard for yourself, nobody else will. Nobody else will. Your life is a direct reflection of what you tolerate. If you don't like where you are, then you have to stop tolerating your own shit. That's really what it comes down to. Set standards that are taking you to where you want to be. Now, how do we break that cycle? Because in typical powerhouse mentality fashion, I'm going to give you the action plan. And it's up to you to take action, right? You've learned all these things so far today. Now you're going to learn a little bit more, but you have to act on these things. Now, I'm not saying that you have to act on all of them at once, but you need to act. And that action might be messy, and that's okay. So number one, you have to decide who you're going to be. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today. The difference between people who win and people who don't is they decide to show up regardless. So ask yourself, who do I want to be? Who am I going to be? Who is the ideal version of you? I ask myself this, what does the ideal version of Caitlin do on a daily basis? What does the CrossFit athlete Caitlin? What is the business owner Caitlin? What does she do on a daily basis? Let me mimic what she does. Those are the standards that you set for yourself. Act as if. If you want to be a successful business owner, if you want to be in shape, healthy, a great parent, great at your career, ask yourself, what does that version of me, what does that person do? And that gives you your action plan. Number two, you have to identify one weak link. Where are you choosing comfort? Are you skipping workouts? Are you not tracking your food? Are you sleeping in? Are you letting negative thoughts win? So I want you to pick one thing that you've been bullshitting about and fix it this week. One thing. Because if you take on all the things all at once, you'll get overwhelmed and you won't do any of it. If your goal is to be healthier, is to be in better shape, think about it like this. I teach my clients that there are 3 pillars to earning results: training, nutrition, and recovery. Where are you choosing comfort? Is it in your workouts? Is it in your food? Is it in your recovery, which is stress management and sleep? Pick one thing you've been bullshitting about and fix it this week. And the third and final thing is I want you to get ruthless. I want you to get relentless about your execution. We've talked about action enough here that you have to understand that action cures everything. People who achieve great things in life, high performers, the people that you look up to, they don't just talk about the things that they're going to do. They execute. They take action. If you say you're going to do something, fucking do it. Do it. Do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. Follow through. One of the core values of the powerhouse mentality is keep the commitments that you make to yourself. There is a reason why that is a core value. Because when you break commitments to yourself, you lose confidence, you lose belief. If you keep the commitments you make to yourself, you gain momentum and you accomplish your goals. So stop making excuses. Stop saying that you're trying to do something and just do it. The moment you stop negotiating with yourself is the moment that you take your power back. So remember, you're not stuck. You're just making weak choices. And then when you change that choice, everything in your life is going to change. So my challenge for you, because I want you to take action, is I want you to pick one thing you've been tolerating in your life, identify that weak link, where are you choosing comfort, and change it this week. No hesitation. Change it. Commit. If you're afraid to do it, lean into that fear because everything you want is on the other side of your fears. Remember, building your powerhouse mentality isn't just about wanting it. It's about doing what it takes to get it every damn day. So go out today and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.